Hello, 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 good evening, hello, everyone. Hi, hello, we're just gonna wait a couple of seconds, let folks grab on the link. Good evening, everyone. Hello, welcome to the winter 2021 edition of Inhale, Exhale. This is the third iteration of this series, Feel Good and Heart-Centered Programming for Queers of Color. It's curated and presented by Cross Boundaries. We're so excited to see you here. It's a new year, same old us. We're out here. I'm sure you're out here doing the best that you can, surviving, thriving, making magic, etc. Before I begin, my name is Rodney DeVerlis. I'll be your host for this series, this season. But before I begin, I want to acknowledge that currently I'm sitting in my living room, on a stool in my living room, which is on Queen Street, which is in traditional territories of the Mississaugas, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Huron-Wendat people. And that this site has actually been a site of human activity for over millennia, over 10,000 years. And we're bound by this covenant, dish with one spoon, wampum treaty, that recognizes that we come from a variety of different lands, variety of different peoples, but we're here sharing the same dish with the same spoon, i.e. the land, the bounty of the land. And so I think it's our collective responsibility as Indigenous folks, as settlers, and as displanted Africans to honor, protect, and sustain this land. And I am so excited for today, for our launch, and for getting this conversation started. Without a further ado, I want to introduce this first session. We really wanted to start for this Inhale, Exhale to thinking about our mind, our body, and our spirit. And there's so much going on in this world, so much turbulence. And we thought, for like most of you, I've been sitting. I've been really sitting and feeling the crunch of sitting. But we thought we'd start with getting our bodies loosened up, getting our bodies ready, and getting our bodies moving. I want to help me welcome Tamika Bernard.
Hello.
Tamika, hi. Tamika,
hi,
hey. So this is Tamika. Tammy Bernard is a functional movement coach, certified personal trainer, and the owner of You Movement, where she provides fitness training, rehab support, and corrective exercise to clients of all identities, ages, and abilities. And if you are here for the Spring 2020 Inhale, you will know that Tamika is also a bomb DJ, bomb sound musician, all of the thing, multi-talented. So we're super happy to have you here. Tamika, hey, take it away, love.
Thank you so much. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I want to take the opportunity to just say thank you for the invite from the Cross Boundaries mental health team and Rodney and the whole team behind Inhale, Exhale. It's always a pleasure to join this series. And the program is always great, and I'm really excited to be a part of it this year. So my name is Tamika. I am a movement practitioner. That's what I like to call myself. Also a certified personal trainer. And my background with that, I come from sort of a long history of injuries, sports injuries, or lifestyle injuries that I had when I was younger, through high school, through early adulthood. And I have always been sort of interested in finding the kinds of movement or the path to the kinds of movement that could better support my body. I've been trying to figure that out for a couple of years, and I have sort of steered myself into the path of kinesiology, which is what I went back to school for as a 30-some-odd-year person. It's really fun to do that. And so that's my sort of like technical background is in kinesiology, and that's where my training is. But in terms of being a movement practitioner, working with different clientele, as a marginalized person, as a queer person of color, I've always found movement spaces and fitness spaces really sort of ranging from intimidating to completely inaccessible. And I started to try to think about what were some of the ways that things in that space, in those spaces, could change, or what could some of these practitioners be doing to make them a little bit more inclusive, or to sort of like play to demographics that are not often catered to within a fitness setting. So that is sort of like where I wanted to socially take my practice, is to sort of provide a safe space for people like myself, visibly queer, visibly, racialized people like myself, to be able to enter those spaces of embodiment, which is actually what we're doing when we go into those spaces. Like, even if we're benching or squatting hundreds and hundreds of pounds, what we're actually doing is we're connecting to our body and our body's ability. So I want that to be something that more of my community can access, and I hope to support that through my own practice. So, blah, 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 blah. That was the spiel. Now let's have a little conversation about what we're going to do together today. I'm going to be taking you all through a series of movements that'll sort of be, some of them are very similar to very conventional movements that you've probably done if you've been in a fitness setting before, sort of like the big squats and lunges. We won't be so much doing lunges today, but a lot of familiar patterns, crunches, that kind of thing. A lot of familiar patterns I'll be taking you through, but sort of in a way that connects you to the ways that the joints are moving in those patterns, the way the muscles around the joints are moving. And that will bring sort of more of an awareness to the way that we're doing the movement. And through that awareness, you might be able to connect to possibly a little bit more of what your body's potential is by just paying attention to the way that you're moving in space at any given time. So these movements are going to kind of cover a little bit of strength, a little bit of cardiovascular training, so we're going to get the lungs and the heart going. And some of them are going to challenge your mobility a little bit in a controlled way, of course. And I'm going to be giving you modifications for as many movements as possible, either in terms of the intensity of the movement, or if you have limited mobility, I'll also be trying to show you as many movements with a chair as possible and give as many of those modifications on the go as you may need. There are some suggestions that I have. If you haven't already, if you could grab some water, keep that on hand, because we're going to be definitely bringing the heart rate up as we go. So you want something there to sort of hydrate you close by. And if you have a yoga mat or some soft surface that you can lay on, we are going to be going from standing to the floor for some of the movements. And again, I'll show you modifications for that kind of movement with the chair. But a lot of these are going to sort of like put a little bit of pressure on the spine from one direction or another. So you want something that's a little bit more cushioned underneath you to be able to support that. So if you haven't already got that, if you're going to get that right now, I'm going to start talking you through our warm-up. So I'm going to take you through a general warm-up that's going to kind of get into the joints, the bigger joints, the shoulders, the hips, the knees, the ankles a tiny bit as well. And as we're going, I kind of want you to mimic this movement that I'm doing. Got a little bit of a shuffle going right now. And I'm doing that to sort of get the ankles going, get the calves pumping blood back to the rest of my body. I'm getting a little bit of movement in the knees, hips are working side to side. And we're just going to take the first couple seconds, first minute or so even, just to connect to this particular pattern that we're getting into. We're getting to flexing our ankles, we're getting to flexing our knees, we're connecting to our pelvis. You want to know where your pelvis is in space at all times through this movement. And then if you are seated in a chair, you're just going to want to get your extremities going to the best of your ability. So you might not be able to see my full, I'll move back a tiny bit here. Those feet, you're just going to be lifting those feet side to side, sort of trying to get a little bit of movement in the ankle, a little bit of movement in the knee and the hip. Same thing, you're sort of running through, loose with the upper body. That's the same movement we're just going to be mimicking from standing to seated. Now we're going to get into slightly more dynamic part of the warm-up. So that pace that we were at, we're going to try and bring that pace up a tiny bit. So just increase your cadence by like 1 count, half count, whatever feels doable. This is gonna, again, start bringing that heart rate up. You're gonna start to feel a little bit warmer. You're noticing that, okay, maybe it's a little bit harder to breathe as I'm going at this pace. And that's okay, we're just gonna let the body get used to that feeling. We're oxygenating as much as we can. So this is where we're gonna kind of practice the recovery breath that we're gonna be doing throughout this routine. We're gonna try to breathe as much through our noses as possible, in and out. So I'm gonna try to really connect to taking deep breaths through my nose that inflate my stomach, and then letting that breath completely empty out, letting that stomach flatten out, and those ribs drop again on the exhale through the nose. It's gonna be hard, especially as our intensity goes up, to continue with the recovery breath strictly through the nose, but as much as you can possibly breathe through your nose, in and out, or if not in and out, then in through the nose and then out through the mouth. That's basically just gonna be keeping giving our nervous system a clue that we're not actually being chased. We're okay. We're actually going for a stroll. We're panicking. We're putting a lot of stress on the body. We're panicking, but it's okay. We have control of our own bodies. We can sort of mitigate that reaction with that breath. It's going to sort of trick your nervous system into doing the rest and relaxation. So we're going to do now from this position, we're going to start to get into our shoulder joints. So with me, I want you to just start that pacing of your breath along with some arm circles, some nice big arm circles. I'm going to go 10 forward, and then I'm going to reverse those arm circles. And we're going to reverse, and as you can see, I'm trying to sort of take as few breaths as possible through each of these sweeps so I can keep reinforcing that I have control of the breath, I have control of how much stress is on my body at this time. Okay, now we're going to start to bring it up a little bit more in the warm-up, so we're keeping the shuffle going as you can, and I always like to let people know that your body is the dictator, even though that kind of sucks, but your body does dictate how much you're pushing, how much intensity you're taking on. So if this pace that I'm going at doesn't work for you, you bring it down. If any movement that we do today doesn't feel right in your body, even after I show you a couple of form cues, then you can take the intensity of that movement down, or you can sit that one out. You can take breaks as you need them. Listen to your own body as we're going through this whole routine today. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the structure of our actual interval workout, which is what we're doing today. Great. We're going to get into the structure of that workout with this warm-up, and the structure is 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off. So we're going to go through a movement for 30 seconds, and then the following 30 seconds, we're just going to stop, bring the intensity down, practice that recovery breath, try to get as oxygenated as possible in that rest period before we move on to the next movement. All of these are going to be jumping movements, but the movements themselves can be reproduced on the chair, and I'll show you each of those as we're going through. So first up, we're going to go through a regular jumping jack, and we're starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. So nice, light taps, trying to keep the weight pretty much just on that forefoot. So you're not trying to let the heel drop down too much between these movements, or between each step. You're trying to sort of keep these shoulders running through a full range of motion. Nice full arc. If you're seated in a chair, what you're going to be doing is stepping out and sweeping those arms as is possible. It's going to still increase blood flow. Okay, and we're bringing that energy down. We're going to start taking our breath, get into this nice little recovery shuffle. That's going to keep the blood flow coming in from those lower limbs. It's going to keep the heart pumping, but not as intense as it was before. And you're going to be breathing as you go in through the nose, out through the nose if you can. Next up, we have an A skip. So this is going to be an alternating skip, or alternating hand and knee are going to pop up into a skip. So you're thinking of sort of pretending that you're going for, I like to tell people, pretend that you're on the playground and you see your friend on the other side of the playground, and you're trying to make it to your friend across the playground. We're going to pop up here, trying to drive that knee as high as we can. A little hop in between, alternating hand and foot, or hand and knee going up together. In 3, 2, 1. From the chair, you're just going to be trying to keep upright torso, driving opposite hand and knee up together, keeping a close eye on your navel, trying to keep the navel close to the spine, active core going the whole time. And rest. So we got 30 seconds again. Deep breaths. Nice little side step. Next movement that we're going to be doing is going to be a squat hop. That's going to take us into an athletic position. That's just sort of a quarter squat position where your hips pop back behind you. Just the tiniest bit. Little tiny bend in the knee, and your torso comes to about 45 degrees. From this position, you're going to try to make sure that your feet are slightly outside of shoulder width. It's going to give you a nice little bouncy, reactive position. So you're going to absorb a lot of force through this position. And the hop itself, we're trying to extend off the ground a tiny bit. The feet will leave the floor a tiny bit. And then we're getting our hips back behind us, landing nice and soft against the ground. So we're thinking of sort of a small range of motion, trying to get as much pop off the floor as possible to raise those feet off the ground, but you're not going so hard that you're coming through the roof. Let's start that in 3, 2, 1, and go. So hips go back first, then knees bend. Nice soft landing. Try to pretend like you're jumping on glass. You don't want to break it. From the chair, we're going to be trying to get some pop going with the feet and the hands at the same time. So I like to just pop off the ground to get my arms going at a similar rhythm. Three, 2, 1, and rest. So back to that shuffle. And by now, you should be feeling a little bit warmer than you were when we started. And that's perfect timing, because now that we're warmed up, we're going to talk about what we got coming for the actual interval routine. So the structure is going to be the same as we just did. The movements are just going to change up. So some of the movements that we have going are more strength-based movements, meaning you're going to be staying in contact with the floor. Some of the movements have a little bit of jumping to them. We're going to be hitting your anterior core, so we're going to be doing a little bit of abdominal work, and those can also be repeated on the chair. I'll show you. And we're going from sort of a top-down model in terms of the intensity. We're going to be taking us from the least intense movements up until the most intense movements at the end, and then we'll be getting a rest period after the interval, the full interval of all where we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements are done. So I'm going to show you each of these one time through, and then as we're going, I'll give you we'll be doing it together, and you'll be able to check my form as we go. First movement is going to be a walkout. So this movement is going to get your hamstrings kind of dynamically stretched out as well. Start warming up the shoulder strength a little bit more and the core stability a little bit more as well. To do a walkout, you're going to hinge your hips back the same way that you did in that squat. But this time, you're going to try to keep your legs as long as possible in the back. If you get to about here and you feel like you need to start bending your knees, then do that until you're able to plant your hands on the floor. If you have the mobility to get those hands all the way down with the legs staying long, then you're going to start here. You're going to walk those hands out until you come into a plank. Do a quick pelvic tuck at the bottom of that plank. So turn your tailbone under, sort of bring your belly button close to your spine. Activate your core. And walking right back to that starting position, you're coming up from the hips, not the low back. So really squeeze your glutes to get back to that fully extended position. And then we're going to go through a series of those for that first 30 seconds. We'll get a 30-second break, and then we have a lateral hop touchdown. So that squat hop position that we got into, that athletic position, gets you into a little bit of a quarter squat position with your hips back behind you, knees slightly bent, torso at 45 degrees, and the feet outside of shoulder width apart. That's going to be your starting position and your lasting position through this lateral hop. I'm going to be going from one end of my mat to the next, and each time I reach that side, I'm going to touch down or reach down toward the ground. So how that's going to look: hop over, plant the feet, I'm going to touch, hop over, plant the feet, touch, hop over, touch, hop over, touch. And I'm trying to keep a little bit of width between my legs as I'm going through. I don't want to be crossing my feet as I go, or I don't want to be getting too close in between each of those hops. If you need a slightly less intense version, same position you're going to start in, and you're going to be stepping, 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 reach down and touch, stepping, 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 reach down and touch. You're always trying to keep your chest up and proud and out toward me. Always trying to keep your back as flat and as neutral as possible. So the same position is going to be repeated, the lateral shuffle. You're going to hinge forward the same way that you would in a standing quarter squat position. You're stepping out and sort of letting your body lean toward that leg, back to center, stepping out, back to center, stepping out, back to center. I'm keeping this sort of forward-leaning posture so I can get my core to activate and transfer that force through it. Next up, we've got a up-down or down-up, which is basically a basic burpee. Burpee in its purest form is just going from standing to the floor. And don't get scared. It's a scary word. Burpee is a scary word for most people, myself included. But these can be modified in a couple of different ways to make them a little bit more accessible. So we're just going from standing to the floor, and we're going to do a movement that's similar to the walkout hinge that we did that I showed you for that first exercise. So hips back, you're going to plant the hands in the most intense version of this movement. You're going to pop those feet back into a plank position, and you're going to pop those feet forward to that starting position. Make sure you're still outside of that shoulder width apart and you're landing on flat feet, and then you're going to stand into a full extension. You can also plant the hands, step back, step forward, and hinge up. And then we're going to be thinking about going for a little bit of a leg extension with a reach from the floor. So what that's going to look like is a little bit of a pelvic tuck to activate the core, and then we're going for opposite leg to hand are going to raise, and then we're reaching forward and back to that starting position. So that's going to be sort of activating the core in a similar way, getting a little bit of shoulder flexion, getting a little bit of quad pump as well. Then we are going to run through a bicycle crunch. So this is going to be our first floor movement. That's going to be strictly for that sort of abdominal region, just between the bottom of the ribs and the top of the pelvis. Come down to the ground. I'm going to tuck my tailbone under, press my belly button down toward my spine so I can activate my core, my glutes a tiny bit. Raise those feet off the ground. Try to make sure that your low back is really staying as tight to the floor as you possibly can get it by maintaining that tailbone tuck. Hands are going to go right behind the head. Elbows are going to stay wide. And then we're going to go for an elbow or opposite elbow to knee touch and switch. And as I go through these, I'm trying not to create so much momentum that I throw that low back off of that connected position. From the seat, you'll be going into that tuck, hands behind the head, opposite elbow and knee are going to be coming toward each other as you maintain that core pressure. Okay, do we feel ready? I feel kind of ready, I guess. I feel kind of good. I'm still warm from showing you those, so we're going to start off by just getting that little bit of movement going again, because we never want to jump into any exercise too cold. So just to get the system going again a tiny bit, get that blood flow moving, all those muscles that we activated in warm-up, we want to get them back in the game. Let's start here, just about another 30 seconds, and then we'll be going into our walkouts for 30 seconds. We'll get a 30-second break after that. Okay, let's start it off with our walkouts in 3, 2, 1, and go. So you want to hinge down, make sure you got a nice flat back, walk those hands out into a plank, tuck the tail under to activate your core, walk those hands back, and hinge all the way up to standing as you go. We got about 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, 30-second break. We're just going to take that second to move those limbs around, keep that shuffle going, keep that constant movement going. We're going to try to move as much as we possibly can. Even when we're tired, we're going to try to move and keep breathing that recovery breath so that we reinforce that our system can handle the stress and that we control the breath in that stress. So next up, we got that lateral shuffle touchdown or lateral hop touchdown. So I'm going to get started in that athletic position, feet outside of shoulder width apart, hopping, trying to stay wide between the steps, touchdown on one side, hop back, touchdown in 3, 2, 1, and go. Really trying to stay nice and wide. You can alternate which hand you touch with. Again, if you need a slightly less intense version, this is the position. Nice choppy steps over to one side. Sink into that position with your chest up and out. And back. We've got 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, back to that shuffle. Breathing in and out through the nose. Deep breaths. Got 10 more seconds, and then we're going to go into our basic burpee. So going from standing to the floor in whatever way feels the most sustainable. Okay, we're going to start at the front of the mat. 3, 2, 1. Nice little hinge. Plant those hands. Hop the legs back. Come into a little bit of a plank. Hop the legs forward. Or stand up, full extension. We're going to go into a nice little hinge. You can be stepping back as well and stepping forward. Back up to that standing position. You're just making sure that you can control that pelvis as you go into the plank. So nice strong tuck to maintain the connection. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Back to our shuffle, or back to our side step, or back to our sort of natural gait walk around. All the while, we're just breathing. Okay, got 5 seconds. Then we're going to go into our bicycle crunch. So we're coming down to the floor. Lower back well planted, nice pelvic tuck. Raise those knees off the ground. Your hands are going to stay right behind that head, cradling that head and the neck. You don't want those to activate. We're going to maintain that nice strong connection with the low back to the floor, and we're going in. 3, 2, 1. So opposite elbow and knee are going to be slightly rotating toward each other. And you're trying to stay as wide as you can in those elbows. So you don't want to be pulling on your neck as you go. You want that neck to be as loose as possible and really force those upper abdominals to do most of the heavy work. And modify the pace as you go. If I'm going at a pace that's too fast for you, you can take that down. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, so now we've done the circuit one time through. So we get a 1-minute break. So you can, if you haven't already, you're just gonna go grab some water. You can grab a towel if you need to. This is not true at all. This isn't true. I am indeed sweating. They were saying to me, I was like, do you have any music? It's like, that's a good idea. Could have had a little something going for you. Wish I could beatbox, but it just wasn't meant to be. So we have about 20 seconds. And when I'm sort of within that 30-second mark until I'm starting the routine again, which is what we're going to do, we're going to go through the routine two more times through. What I like to do is I like to take that time to sort of get that shuffle going again, get myself back into the zone of being able to go and do that movement and support my body through that movement by just giving it a little bit more blood, a little bit more engagement with the heart and the lungs. Calves are pumping, the big muscles in the legs are going, just getting ready. So, starting off with our walkouts in 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. We're going to hinge the hips, plant the hands, keep those legs as long as possible, tuck the tail under, bring the belly button close to the spine, activate that core, back to that starting position, squeeze the glutes to come up. Try to maintain a nice neutral back as you go. And 3, 2, 1, time. Side step, shuffle, shuffle, whatever feels good. Next up, we have our lateral hop or lateral shuffle with the touchdown. Lateral step, whatever feels good. So we're going in about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, you're going to get into that starting position. Hop over, touch down, touch down, touch down, staying nice and wide between each step. Alternating which hands you're using to touch down. Or side stepping, and touching down, touching down. 3, 2, 1, and time. In through the nose, out through the nose. I feel like I'm just getting younger by the minute, which I need at this stage of my life. Okay, next up, we have got our basic burpee. So standing to the floor or seated alternate arm reach and leg extension. We're going to be popping those legs back in that horizontal position or stepping back between each one of those reps. Okay, going in 3, 2, 1, and go. Nice good hinge at the hands. Pop, pop, stand, back down, pop, pop, stand. Make sure that those feet are returning to the same place that they left from. And make sure that those feet are traveling in that same line. So you don't want your feet starting close and ending wide, or the opposite. That's going to take the knee in directions we don't need it to go. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shuffle it out. Step it out. Deep breaths. Next up, we've got a bicycle crunch. So we're back to the floor. Starting off by connecting that low back nice and tight. Getting a nice tight connection. You're going to lift the feet off the floor only when you have that strong tight connection in the low back. Hands are going to go behind the head. Cradle the head and neck. 3, 2, 1, and go. Opposite elbow and knee are going to be coming toward each other as you twist your torso fully from side to side. Try to really get down, sort of bear down through the belly button, brace yourself to the floor. From a seated position, just going to be engaging the core the same way, a little bit of a pelvic tuck, hands behind the head, reaching opposite knee to elbow. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay. Now we have our 1-minute break. So we're going to take our recovery, sort of walk around, do the same thing we did before. We're still in that breath. We're trying to always be in connection with that breath. Make sure that you're really allowing your stomach to inflate. I would even suggest putting a hand on your belly button, taking a nice deep breath, really trying to see that belly button or that hand rise off and then drop back down. A lot of times we're breathing more shallow than is efficient for our body. We're kind of breathing up here in the chest. Sometimes the ribs can flare and you think you're getting a lot of air, but if that stomach isn't filling up, that diaphragm isn't dropping and rising well enough to really get you as oxygenated as would work for your body. So we're about in the 30-second mark right now in terms of getting ready to go for the next round. So I'm going to start bringing my energy up a tiny bit. You can do that too. Start moving around those lower limbs. Start getting the upper body loosened up. You can run through some of those arm circles that we did in the beginning for warm-up if those felt good for you. Take your shoulder joint through a little range of motion. And we got about 10 seconds. We're going to start with our walkouts in that 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1, hinge, plant the hands, nice long legs in the back, tuck the pelvis, hands are right underneath those shoulders, back, plant those feet, squeeze those glutes, come back to standing. Three, 2, 1, and time. Okay, back to our shuffle. Don't worry, we're almost done. We're almost done. We're going to finish this round, and we got nothing but luxurious stretches waiting for us on the other end. So 5 seconds until we go into our lateral hop. 3, 2, 1, and go. Athletic position, quarter squat, outside shoulder width apart, up, touch. Or we are stepping out from that quarters position. Trying to make sure the glutes and the core are active from the seated position as well. 3, 2, 1, and time. Back to our shuffle. Okay. I feel good. I feel really awake right now, which I was struggling to do for most of the day. So thanks, everybody, for your help. Okay, next up we have that basic burpee, or that up-down, as it's often called. We're gonna go in 5 seconds from the front of the mat. 3, 2, 1, and go. Let those hands, after that nice strong hinge, pop those legs back. Nice strong plank. Pop those legs forward and stand. Five seconds. Keep that breath going through the nose. 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay. A little bit of a shuffle. Walk things out. This is it. This is our last strength movement we're going to run through before we start our stretches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give us a little bit of a bonus, and that will be slightly longer time in that movement. So we're going to go for that bicycle crunch. I'm going to set a timer for a minute, and that's the time frame that we're going to try to bang out as many reps as we can as possible. And again, you don't have to push yourself past what doesn't feel good. If 30 seconds is plenty, 10 seconds is plenty, no matter where you're at, let yourself own that you banged out that 10 seconds. If you take a little rest, you can bang out another 10, then that's bomb. If you need to take the rest of the moment off or the rest of the minute off, then take the rest of the minute off. You already did 3 rounds of this nutcase workout, so, what can I say? So we're going to come down, plant that low back, sort of tilt that pelvis so you get a nice strong connection, because we want that connection to be as strong as possible the whole way through. Now we're going to start alternating our elbow to knee in 3, 2, 1, and go. So really get that full twist of the torso. And just cycle those feet, just like on a bicycle. Really bear down the belly button through the spine. Always bring your awareness to the pelvis, to your low back. If you feel that low back lifting up on you, then you're just going to bring it back down, reset that pelvic tuck, and keep going from there. So we're over our first mark of 30 seconds by 10 seconds now. So we got 20 to go for our final round of this routine. Last 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1, and rest. We did it! I am definitely feeling a lot more active than I was at the start of this routine. So let's come down a little bit, bring the energy down. You can get into whatever seated position feels good on your mat. You can stay seated in the chair if that's what's supporting you, wherever you are right now. Just find a place that feels sustainable to stay in. Bring your energy down. You're just going to spend the first minute post that last little rush, sort of getting into that recovery breath, doing a lot of breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. I'm really trying to connect with that That's sort of that nervous system response again, but now we're in the rest and relaxation for real. So now we can really let things go because we're not getting the stimulus that we were getting throughout the whole workout. You know, my heart rate's going up, but I can't breathe so good. Doesn't that mean something intense is happening? So right now we don't have that stimulus. So now we're really going to focus on opening the lungs as much as we can, filling up with air. Okay, then we're going to go into a bit of a glute stretch. So what we're going to do from the whatever seated position you're in, I want you to come onto your butt, and we're going to be going for what is called a figure 4 stretch. So that's basically going to be getting your one leg crossed over the next into a position that looks very much like a 4. And we can do this from the seated position, or the floor position rather, and it's also really effective from the chair. So if you do have a chair that's close by, even if you haven't run through the routine from a seated position, and what you're going to do from that chair is you're going to cross over one ankle over knee. So right now I'm making a bit of a 4 with my legs. I want to try to drive that crossed over knee toward the floor, open up that hip. Then you're going to bring your chest out nice and proud, sort of keep your back as flat as you possibly can. And then you're going to lean forward, trying to get your chest close to that crossed over shin. You really don't have to go far to feel the stretch. From the side, my back is going to be nice and flat. Coming down into that stretch, and you should feel this pretty strong stretch on the outside of the hip, outside of the glute on that side. From the floor, on the floor, you're mimicking that same stretch. Cross that ankle over, press that knee open, and you're going to grab the bottom, the underside of the bottom thigh, and try to pull that into your chest. So let's just stay here on this side for a little while longer. Again, really trying to stay connected to that breath. And just let your kind of awareness float around to like, okay, well, what feels like what in my body right now? Am I still feeling it in my heart and lungs? Just take note of that. There's like no right or wrong answer, of course, but maybe you feel a little tingly, maybe you feel some burn in your actual muscles. All of it is just giving you a little bit more awareness of your body and how it's reacted to what we did together today. So I'm going to switch sides, cross the other ankle over, press the knee open, grab the underside of that thigh, or just lean forward from that chair position. Okay, you lower that leg back down, turn onto your side, get yourself up off the ground if you are on the ground still, and we're going to come to either a standing position or I'll show you from the chair as well. We're going to run through a shoulder and lat stretch. So from the chair position, you can actually do it 2 ways. You can do it standing, so if you're able to get out of the chair and come around to the back of the chair, you're going to step back from the chair, use the chair as support, you're going to drive your hips back, and then you're going to try to keep your arms as straight as possible while you're letting your chest sink between your arms or between your shoulders. Try to keep a nice long leg posture in the legs, if that feels comfortable. And if you're seated in the chair, you're going to try to get your shoulder blades just to the edge of the chair. Hands are going to go back behind the head. You're going to sort of keep an awareness on your pelvis, so maybe a tiny bit of a tuck so you're nice and rooted onto that chair. And then you're going to lean back against the edge of the chair and extend your upper back the same way. And standing, of course, if you have a surface that you can press on like a wall or the edge of a counter, same stretch, just trying to get your chest past the level of your shoulders. If you feel a little bit of tension or pinchiness in your shoulders, try turning your thumbs up to the ceiling. That'll just open up the joint a tiny bit more. Stay here for a couple more seconds. And slowly hinge yourself back up. Remember to use those glutes as you do that. And that, my friends, is that. Thank you so much for joining in today, and thanks again to all the team at Across Boundaries and Inhale, Exhale. I'm so glad that we get to do this all together, and I'm excited about all the programming this year, as I always am. And it's been really great to be a part of it this year. I hope that the rest of the festival goes so well. And I really want to just let everyone know, or let everyone here know that, like, if this was a vulnerable space to come into, if movement isn't something that you access easily because society is blocking you, or because mobility is blocking you, or injury is blocking you, just even sitting in your body and showing up to be in the space today is really huge. And so big up yourself for that. Big up yourself for tapping in when you could, tapping out when you needed to, also listening to your body in that way. So that's you having a conversation with your body. If you said today, I've got it, but I've got it to a point, and past that point I'm not pushing, that's your agency, and that's really important. That's a huge part of this process. Don't let me or any other movement practitioner or personal trainer tell you you have to just like go, and if you don't go, you fail. That's all some mess right there. You're in control of your body, and it's about you challenging your body into a place that feels comfortable for your body. It's not you pushing past and trying to reach somebody else's goals. So I really appreciate you all doing that with me today, and I want to wish everybody as good a winter as I possibly can, and I hope the rest of the festival goes so well. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Seeing your cute messages come in right now. It's really nice.
Tamika, everyone, yes, thank you so much for the messages. Please send all your messages of love. Thank you so much for saying that, for closing off with that, and just reminding us of our agency and ourselves, and that this is our body. It is for ourselves to love, to cherish, to push, to challenge. Thank you so much for saying that, love. Where can we find you?
So I can be reached, you guys can check out my website. It is You Movement. That's movement spelled with no vowels. So YOUMVMNT.com. That'll give you sort of a broader picture of what I do and how I do it and how I engage with you all. I am Tamika_Acumat on Instagram. I do a lot of DJ promotion on that platform. I haven't quite figured out like the marketing for my movement practice through Instagram for a number of reasons, of course. So you can reach me there though, if you'd like to. I'm always on there being a fool of some kind.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, so much love to you. Thank you so much for all the things. This was the opener of Inhale Exhale, presented by Across Boundaries. We're so happy you were able to join us. We have the video. This video stays on Across Boundaries' page. So if you missed us today and you're watching us at another day, Tamika's wisdom is going to be here on our page to stay. And so this kicks off our season. We have 11 webisodes and virtual meetups that are centered on art, body, and spirit, and creating opportunities for us for self and collective care. And so up next, we have the Vogue Femme Masterclass with Twisted Miyake Mugler. That will be next Tuesday, same time, same place at 7:30 p.m. EST. And this class is for people who already have experience in the style of Vogue Femme. And this is a chance to sort of brush up on your skills and learn a combo that will push you as a dancer. And if you feel like you don't necessarily already have the experience, go on YouTube and YouTube Vogue Femme. Trust and believe you can watch and take that all in. So much love for you. So much love for everyone who was able to join us. This is Inhale Exhale presented by Across Boundaries. If you want to see the rest of the season at a glance, you can check us out at crossboundaries.ca/2SLGBTQ. Make sure you like the Cross Boundaries Mental Health page on Instagram and on Facebook to keep updated with the rest of our events. And we will see you next week. Much love.